Elite Facts presents Most Amazing Coincidences You'll Ever Hear About.
8.
Oregon's Columbian newspaper announced the winning Pick 4 lottery numbers a week in advance. They printed the wrong numbers by complete mistake. The very next week, those numbers won the lottery.
7.
Henry Trage fought 5 duels in Marseille, France between the years of 1861 and 1878. The first 4 of his opponents died before any shots were fired. Just before any shots were fired in the 5th duel, Trage himself dropped dead.
6.
Barbara Forrest and Mary Ashford were both victims of murder 157 years apart, yet both almost identical. They were both found murdered on the 27th of May in the same town. Both had been raped, both were found within 400 yards of each other. Both were murdered at the same time of day. There were attempts to hide both bodies. Both girls had visited a friend on the evening of Whit Monday. Both changed into a new dress that night, and both went to a dance.
5.
Emile Deschamps once shared a table with M. de Fortiguebus, who had come from England with a taste for plum puddings. He insisted that Deschamps sample one. 10 years later, Deschamps passed a restaurant and saw that it was serving plum pudding. So Deschamps went in and ordered a slice, to be told it was reserved for another customer. The customer was Fortiguebus. Years later at a party, Deschamps was retelling a story about Fortiguebus, joking about the possibility of the man turning up, when suddenly there he was at the party.
4.
In 1911, 3 men were hanged at Greenberry Hill. Remember this name for the murder of Sir Edmund Berry Godfrey. The killer's surnames were Green, Berry and Hill. Still remember that place name?
3.
Jean-Marie de Barry, a Frenchman, was executed on February the 13th, 1746 for the murder of his father. 100 years to the day, another Frenchman, also named Jean-Marie de Barry, was executed also for the murder of his father.
2.
When Charles Francis Coffin became ill and died, he was too far away to have his remains sent home, and he was instead buried in a lead coffin inside a granite vault. A year later, a hurricane hit Galveston, flooding the graveyard, shattering his vault and carrying away his coffin. 8 years later, fishermen on Prince Edward Island spotted a weathered box floating near the shore. It was the coffin of Charles Coghlan, who had finally returned home. He was buried in the nearby church where he had been christened as a baby.
1.
A German magazine once held a writing competition. The rule was to tell a real-life story of their own. Walter Kellner wrote about flying a Cessna 41 between Sardinia and Sicily when he crash-landed in the water. An Australian man of the same name complained he had used his own personal story. The magazine checked out both stories and found that they were both true, despite being nearly identical. Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more Elite Facts.